Oh god, I'm always getting in trouble when I talk about this one. So the first Jujutsu Kaisen movie just released in theaters. Let me get this out of the way now. It is everything a Jujutsu Kaisen fan could want. Like, I'm positive if you're a fan of the anime, you're gonna absolutely love this. But what if you're not a fan of the anime? Oh, Danny, what a ridiculous question when concerning the prequel movie of an anime. But I disagree. Because this movie makes one massive improvement over the show that I think if you're not a fan of the anime, you may still enjoy this movie. By the way, before we get into things, first off, no spoilers in this review. Second, I tried, okay? I tried damn near everything to get rid of these curls. It's not happening. I look like Elvis went Super Saiyan 2, and we're all just gonna have to fucking deal with it. So, how do I know that someone who doesn't like the show could still enjoy this movie? Well, because I don't really like the show. I mean, yeah, the fights are great, the animation's outstanding, and I can enjoy the show casually if I turn my brain off. It's the second I turn my brain back on that everything goes downhill. It's just got a lot of shonen tropes I don't really like. The comedy's kind of dumb and quirky. It's super pervy a lot of the times. Jujutsu sorcerers are supposed to be hidden from society while also blowing up a new middle school every other Tuesday. I especially hate that trope, like the secret society that destroys the city like all the time, because it's just kind of like lazy writing. If you make the Jujutsu sorcerers a secret from society, then you can just write the rest of the world the way that our world is. But if you make them known to society, then you have to go the My Hero route and like build this whole new modern culture around Jujutsu sorcerers, like being integrated into society. And yeah, I get it, that's a bitch for sure, and like requires an immense amount of skill and world building techniques. But again, that doesn't make it not dumb when every mall in Tokyo gets reduced to a crater. And I guess every citizen is just like, well, those wacky terrorists are at it again. But obviously there are things I like about the series as well. Like, for example, the powers and techniques in the show are super creative. And it's always exciting to see how different curse users are gonna handle different situations. But longtime viewers of my page will know that my biggest complaint about the show, without a doubt, is that I fucking hate the protagonist. Itadori is the biggest Mary Sue I've seen in years. Episode 1, before he even becomes a Jujutsu sorcerer, the dude's just doing gymnastics around a 30-foot tall demon like he's auditioning to be the next Black Widow. Regular high school sophomore Itadori leaps to a second-story window and kicks straight through the glass. And that's after he picks up a shot put for the first time in his life and becomes the undisputed heavyweight shot put champion of the world. He's just naturally great at everything, never has to work for anything, and on top of that, his motivation is just ruthlessly boring. He wants to use his abilities to save people because he'd feel bad if he didn't. Like, yeah, dude, that's every good person. Oh, but Danny, he's got some natural bloodline shenanigans that make him the best at everything. It makes sense that he's so strong. Yeah, dude, being naturally gifted because of your bloodline is like step 1 of the Mary Sue handbook. And I know what you're thinking, am I really gonna be so much of an asshole that I'm gonna say the one big improvement this movie has over the show is that Itadori's not in it? No, don't worry, I'm not that spiteful. Because the improvement in the movie isn't just that Itadori's not in it, it's that he's replaced with a much better protagonist. Jujutsu Kaisen 0, will you shut the fuck up, bird? Jujutsu Kaisen 0 follows the story of Yuta Okotsu, Gojo's student before taking Itadori under his wing. A curse has attached itself to Yuta and brutally maims anyone who tries to hurt him. Yuta desperately wants to be rid of his curse, and so Gojo agrees to help him while training him to be a Jujutsu sorcerer. Apparently, Yuta was the original protagonist of Jujutsu Kaisen before the creator switched it to Itadori. And wow, what a mistake that was. Yuta is such a vastly more compelling character than Itadori from like every perceivable angle. For one, he starts off super weak with no combat skills, and this makes him more interesting than someone like Itadori who starts off immensely powerful because it adds stakes to the action scenes. Yuta's classmates don't want to take him— Shut the fuck up, bird! Yuta's classmates don't want to take him on missions because he's in the way. They know that by taking him along, it means that on top of fighting a curse, they have to protect someone who's borderline useless as well. So when one of his partners ends up in trouble, useless ass Yuta Yuta has to think on his feet to try and save them. It adds tension to the scene because you know that Yuta couldn't beat the demon in a head-on fight even if he wanted to, and so he has to come up with a clever solution to support his allies. It also makes his growth as a Jujutsu sorcerer all the more satisfying because you get to see this shy, awkward kid grow and become more confident through the need to support his friends. But his combat growth isn't the only thing that makes him a compelling character. Unlike Itadori, Yuta actually has a super personal connection with his curse. Sukuna and Itadori are like basically strangers. Like, Sekuna's just a guy whose finger Itadori happened to eat. And yeah, having a 15-year-old boy host the body of like an ancient god of destruction is an interesting premise. But Yuta's relationship with his curse is so tragic, and the way the story develops is so emotional and satisfying. When Itadori summons Sukuna, you're excited because you know you're gonna get a hype fight. But when Yuka summons his curse, on top of getting a really cool action sequence, you're excited to see how he and his curse interact with each other and how it develops their relationship. It adds narrative layers to the action sequences and Yuta's powers. Speaking of relationships, Yuta's connection with his classmates is like also way stronger than Itadori's. You can see how and why each of his friends inspires him. His relationship with Maki specifically is super endearing. In fact, this movie actually made Maki my favorite character in the entire show. But the connection between Yuta and his friends is so genuine and so personal because you see that he started off not having any. And so seeing his personality change as a result of making friends makes his story so compelling. And I love that you see Yuta actually grow as a Jujutsu sorcerer. You see him train for months before he even becomes semi-competent on a mission. Rather than with Itadori, where day zero he's already incredible at killing curses. As far as the rest of the movie goes, like I said, if you're a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, you'll definitely love this. The creature designs and fight choreography are fantastic as ever, and I was actually really impressed with how disturbing some of the horror elements were. And if you want to see Gojo batter someone so hard he can make a cake out of their corpse, well, that's here too. Now, for as far as I'm gassing up this movie, I don't think it's really gonna blow anyone away, Jujutsu Kaisen fan or not. It's no Mugen Train, you know, like it really does just feel like an extra long episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, but with a better protagonist. And the only reason I make that comparison is because I feel like Mugen Train, on top of being an incredible Demon Slayer movie, was also just a great movie in general, whereas I think this is just a really good Jujutsu Kaisen movie. I think if you're not a fan of anime, this definitely isn't gonna change your mind on that, but I think if you were like me and you had like a general interest in Jujutsu Kaisen and just some things about the show were like drawing you out of it, then you'll find more to enjoy here. It's still got some like awkward perviness, it's still got some of that weird quirky humor. The things I mentioned about Yuta being a better protagonist than Itadori are definitely improvements, but they're improvements on a character I thought was already kind of bad. So for all that I've gassed up the movie, it definitely isn't like a 10 out of 10 you must see this film. It's better than your average shonen, for sure. Like, it blows anything My Heroes put out, like, way out of the water, but I really don't see myself watching this a second time anytime soon. Also, real quick piece of bonus, like, behind the scenes trivia here that I know nobody cares about, because I certainly wouldn't care about it if I was you. You may have noticed something about all this looks a little bit different, other than the fact that I've ascended beyond the level of an ordinary Saiyan, and that's because there's no reason for me to be excited about this. There's no reason to put this in the video. Sometimes I like to vlog to you guys for some reason, you know, it boosts engagement in the comments. I'm using a new focal length on my camera lens, so if you compare this to any of my previous videos in this setup, you'll notice everything's a little... oh my god. Everything's a little smushed forward. So now we get a Nosuke in here, we get that stuff in here, my face is a little flatter, I guess. I don't know. I know no one would have noticed if I didn't mention it, but I want you guys to know the fucking lengths I went to get a Nosuke in here. Also, I thought it'd be funny to add this hyper chaotic behind the scenes segment in what was otherwise a pretty calm and collected review. Also, you know what? Fuck it. While I'm here, quick channel update / questionnaire. Channel update. Assassination Classroom Season 2 is coming. A lot of you seem very nervous in the comments about it. It's coming. I've been super busy. So much anime shit's coming out. Questionnaire. Does anyone give a shit about my opinions on the Cuphead show? Because maybe expect a video on that too. Questionnaire Part 2. Does anyone give a shit about my opinions on the Batman Arkham games? Because that may also come as well. A lot of you like when I make content on superheroes and video games, so I've been trying to weave stuff like that in here as well. I've got a Moon Knight video coming whenever the hell Moon Knight comes out. But yeah, just kind of like bouncing some ideas off you guys. Cuphead and the Arkham games, you know, just if I find the time. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the movie. Have you seen Jujutsu Kaisen 0? Did you like it? Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments below. Also, let me know who you think's a better protagonist, Itadori or Yuka. Make sure you subscribe here if you don't want to miss out on content, and subscribe to my Patreon if you want to get exclusive content every month. I've been putting out videos pretty frequently lately, and that's all thanks to the help of my Patreon supporters. The more support I get from you guys, the more time and resources I can put into making content. Thank you all so much, and I will see you guys next time.
Now I always seem to freeze.